Today we're talking about Hercules. In Greek mythology, Hercules is a hero known for his muscular strength, excellent combat skills, and mastery in archery. He also wields a large club. However, he is the type of hero whose strength outshines his intellect, if not outright lacking in brains, with his body growing much more developed than his mind. This is reflected in his ability to fight and handle physical challenges. Hercules was unbeatable in combat, but when it came to intellectual tasks, he struggled. At one point, he was scolded by his music teacher for being so bad at learning the lyre. In a fit of rage, he struck and killed the teacher with the lyre. When brought to trial, Hercules was defended by Greek law, which stated that if someone killed another in anger, it wasn't considered a crime. Throughout his life, Hercules often fell prey to manipulation, and his overwhelming anger would lead him to make rash decisions with serious consequences. Hercules had 3 names. His birth name was Alcides. After he was born, Zeus took Alcides to Olympus and secretly fed him the milk of Hera while she was asleep, hoping it would grant him immortality. However, when Hera woke up, she pushed Hercules away, and as a result, her milk spilled across the universe, forming the Milky Way, the very galaxy we live in today. Hera was furious about this incident, so to appease her, Zeus changed Alcides' name to Heracles, meaning glory of Hera. In Latin, this became Hercules, or Hec Quin. The saying goes, like father, like son, but in Hercules' case, he had quite a difficult life, full of struggles. His family history and origin were already complicated. Hercules was the product of a prophecy and an illicit relationship. His father, according to lineage, was his mother's grandfather. After the Titanomachy, Zeus heard a prophecy about a great battle that would one day occur, and Zeus would be defeated and cast into the prison of Tartarus unless a demigod, his son, helped him. This hero had to be a descendant of Perseus, the hero who slayed the Gorgon Medusa. Perseus was also the son of Zeus. This meant that Zeus was the great-grandfather of Hercules' mother. To fulfill this prophecy, Zeus quickly went down to the mortal world to find Alcmene, the daughter of King Electryon and a descendant of Perseus. King Electryon had 10 children, but 8 were killed in a territorial dispute with Poseidon's descendants, and his herd of cattle was stolen. Angry, King Electryon promised his daughter's hand to anyone who could bring his cattle back. The news reached Amphitryon, a young man from a royal family, skilled in combat, strong and successful in everything, including never losing in stock trading. Amphitryon, who had long admired Alcmene, immediately traveled to Mycenae to take on the challenge. He successfully returned the cattle. When King Electryon saw his cattle returned, he was overjoyed and rushed out to greet them. But suddenly, one of the bulls charged directly at him. With a club in hand, Amphitryon threw it with all his strength to stop the bull. But unfortunately, the club ricocheted off the bull and hit the king. And so, Electryon passed away. This incident caused Amphitryon, once a hero, to fall to the lowest rung of society for killing a king. He had no choice but to flee in order to save his life. Before leaving, he managed to invite Alcmene, the daughter of the man he had just accidentally killed, to come with him. Alcmene, being a dutiful daughter, agreed immediately, on the condition that Amphitryon would avenge her 8 lost brothers. So the 2 of them traveled to the city of Thebes, where Amphitryon gathered an army and went to war to restore justice for his wife. While he was off fighting, Alcmene stayed behind. After several attempts in different forms, rain, bull, swan, Zeus decided to go for the ultimate trick. He disguised himself as Amphitryon and sneaked into Alcmene's chambers, making love to her for 3 days and nights. When the real Amphitryon returned and realized what had happened, he was furious and set up a funeral pyre to burn Alcmene in revenge. But every time he tried to light it, Zeus sent rain to douse the flames. So, Amphitryon, now powerless, accepted the situation and married Alcmene. A few days later, Alcmene found herself pregnant. At first, Zeus intended for Hercules to become a king, but Hera, jealous, intervened and took the title from him. On the day of Alcmene's labor, she gave birth to twins, Iphicles, the son of Amphitryon, and Hercules, the son of Zeus. When Hercules was about 10 months old, Hera's jealousy flared up again, and she sent 2 snakes to strangle him. However, the snakes were no match for the strength of Zeus's son. Amphitryon immediately recognized Hercules' extraordinary power and decided to invest in his training. Hercules became incredibly skilled in physical activities: archery, sword fighting, chariot racing, and martial arts. He excelled in everything related to combat, but struggled with cultural subjects. After the incident where Hercules killed his music teacher, Amphitryon sent him far away to tend sheep in peace. But Hercules' destiny was not to be at peace. He continued to train, even crafting a massive olive wood club that not even 10 strong men could lift. At the time, there was a huge and vicious lion in Thebes which had been killing the local sheep and cattle. Despite being just 18 years old, Hercules took his club and set out to kill the beast. After 50 days of pursuit, Hercules finally killed the lion and brought its carcass to King Thespios, who had suffered the most from the lion's attacks. The king, grateful for Hercules' help, offered his daughter's hand in marriage. But Hercules, to his surprise, was given 50 wives, one for each day he spent hunting the lion. When his friends learned about this, they all cut ties with Hercules, as no one wanted to be invited to 50 weddings. Following this victory, Hercules achieved another feat for the people of Thebes. The people of Thebes had once accidentally killed the king of Orchomenos while driving a chariot, and as compensation, they were required to pay 2,000 cattle to the son of the king, Ergonos, over 20 years. When Hercules heard about this, he became enraged and used his club to beat the Orchomenian messengers, cutting off their ears and noses before sending them back home. While Hercules' actions were justified by the circumstances, he might have overstepped a bit. The people of Thebes had killed the king, and they had already agreed to pay the cattle as reparations. But Hercules, with his 50 wives and no concern for family matters, intervened. King Ergonos, furious at this, brought his army to Thebes. However, justice was in the hands of the man with the biggest olive club in the region. Hercules, leading the Theban army, defeated Ergonos' forces, killing him. But, unfortunately, his stepfather, Amphitryon, was also killed in the battle. Though Hercules had lost his stepfather, he helped Thebes turn the tables, shifting from debtor to creditor. Now, Orchomenos was required to pay double the amount, 4,000 cattle over 20 years to Thebes. With this victory, what was Hercules' reward? It was, once again, a wife. The king of Thebes, Creon, was overjoyed to have 4,000 cattle and quickly married his daughter Megara to Hercules. Megara was a gentle and beautiful princess, and she bore Hercules 8 children. Smart, handsome, and respectful of others' belongings. It seemed like a perfect life. 51 wives, a few hundred children, and a mighty olive club. What more could a Greek man wish for? But as the saying goes, life doesn't always give you everything. The gods may grant you all the beauty in the world, but they often take something away in return. Hercules had everything, beautiful wives, lovely children. But one day, everything suddenly turned from green to red. And no, I'm not talking about the stock market. One day, Hercules went mad, clutching his head, screaming, his eyes bulging, frothing at the mouth, running wild like a beast. In his frenzied state, he grabbed a knife and slaughtered his wife and children, even killing his own brother Iphicles' children in a bloodthirsty rage. When Hercules came to his senses, he found himself in the same position as his stepfather had been years ago, once a glorious hero, now a cursed murderer. The cause of his madness stemmed from a promise Zeus had made to Hera. Hercules, when he grew up, would have to serve Eurystheus, his cousin and king, for 12 years. When the time came and Hercules failed to fulfill this sacred promise, he was cursed to go mad. Or maybe it was just the stress from having 51 wives and hundreds of children. Imagine dealing with one girlfriend and the stress of choose me or your career, and then multiply that by 51 plus 100 small-town loudspeakers. It's easy to see how anyone would snap. With the blood of his family on his hands, Hercules went to Apollo, seeking guidance on how to atone for his monstrous crime. The god of light, with his silver bow, told Hercules that he must return to the place of his birth and serve Eurystheus for 12 years. During these 12 years, Hercules would face 12 great labors, completing heroic feats so legendary that his earthly sins would be forgotten, and his name would not just belong to a mortal man, but to an immortal god worthy of the glory of Zeus's son. To put it simply, for the next 12 years, Hercules would be a servant to a king, and if he succeeded, he would cleanse his sins and become an immortal god. And that will be the story for the next video.